everybody. Alright, so what we're going to be working on today is, as you see here, we do have this Mora, and if you notice right here, this Band-Aid will almost fit right there, just a little bit of bending down on the edges there. So we're going to put together a little first aid kit here, a little survival kit. So put down this piece of plastic here. Alright. Now, the things that I put together to go into this. Okay, so here I have 4 matches. Right? Now they are taped together. Now right here, I cut a piece out of the side of the matchbox so that we can fit 4 matches on there. And on the other side of this is the striker. So we have 4 matches and a striker. Next up, what I did is I cut several pieces of jute twine. And so we got all that, and I put them in just a cut straw to hold them together. So there we have combustion, and then we have some fire starter accelerant. Then we also have here, we just have a simple birthday candle, but if it's you know, windy or something and you need something longer than the match, or just to provide just that little bit of light for a little bit of time, we do have a little bit of candle there. And then the next up, I have included 3 fish hooks. And again, I've taped them together so that they stay in place and to avoid any slipping to get hooked. I have put in a couple things of aqua tabs. We're also going to include 4 of these tiny zip ties. And then of course, these are the original Band-Aids. There's 3 of them here. These are a little bit longer. And then finally, we have small Band-Aids. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to get them on this piece of plastic. And get them all organized. So, alright, in order to get them in there, we also have a good chunk of foil. Now the foil can be used for a lot of things. If it's wet, you can put it down to get your fire started on it. You can use it for signaling. There's all kinds of uses for this foil. Now it says this is heavy duty, but it's still pretty thin, so it is just foil. However, what we want to do is we want to make it so it's about the size of that Band-Aid there. Alright. And then what we're going to do is we're going to offset the Band-Aid just a little bit. We're going to fold that up just like that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my right in the middle of the Band-Aid there, well, kind of towards the top. We're going to start stacking all this stuff in here, but we do want it to be kind of the same size as the Band-Aid so that it will fit nicely on the front of that Mora. And then we're going to wrap the Mora with some paracord. And so then that way we've got a nice little compact emergency survival kit that's going to be on the outside of the Mora. And then after we get the Mora wrapped, we'll get that looked at. Alright. So now then, what we're going to do is now, yeah, it is going to add a little bit of bulk to the front of the Mora here, but it shouldn't exceed too far out. Now, I didn't put any fishing line in this. You could add fishing line, I suppose, but you got to understand you also have the paracord, which has the inner strands, and those inner strands can be used as fishing line. So they're not as efficient as monofilament, but they will work. All right, let me get that wrapped up there. But I definitely wanted to include the foil as part of it. Now, as you can see, once we get it wrapped, now it may not look the prettiest in the end, but it's gonna do the trick. And then, since we don't know what the weather's going to be like, we're also going to wrap it in this bag here, like so. There go the darks. And then we're just going to put, this is the same tape I used for the fish hooks and the matches. And then we're just going to tape this down just like this. Now, not only will this keep this protected from the water, but it's also going to keep it together so that it doesn't come loose anywhere. That balladoo knife is actually pretty decently sharp that we got. Oh, you haven't seen that video yet. Well, we got a balladoo knife, and it is definitely sharp. So there we go. I'll sanitize that. So there we have a nice little compact survival kit that we're going to put behind in that Mora. So for the rest of this video, what we're going to do is we're going to actually wrap this sheath with this paracord. It's about 9.5 feet. I don't know how much will actually get on here. And then we're going to secure this to the front of it. So it might be a little bit bulky. Now the only thing I did add is that I did add these blackened ends with some duct tape. And that's mainly for aesthetic purposes, since we do have a black sheath, we have black paracord, and so it doesn't just look like the white plastic. But if you also strip this off, it's very flammable as well. So for starters, what I'm going to start to do is we're going to start the loop on the back here. So we're going to start the loop, and we are going to be wrapping it from the back so that the front looks a little bit, nicer and tighter. So and then what we're going to do is we're just going to start wrapping this up here. Get a couple of them on here nice and tight. That way it's ready to wrap. And we're going to cinch that up as high as we can on the top here. As you can see, the top part is more flat and the bottom is kind of angled. I try to angle it as much to the shape of the sheath as possible. And then probably one more. And we're just going to keep this going nice and tight. Making sure that now this should, if this works out right, this should tighten up very nicely, and it's going to secure the survival kit there straight to the Mora. And so you're going to have, obviously you've got your Mora, so you have your cutting edge. So you've got your cutting tool. You've got 4 matches in there, so you've got some combustion. You also have a candle, which can be used, either as to extend the life of your match, or you can use it for a short bit of light if it is late at night and you need to have some light. You also have some Band-Aids, because the last thing that you want is to be out in a bad situation and you get an infection. So you do have a Band-Aid to keep dirt out of wounds. And then you've got, of course, the jute twine. So on top of combustion, you also have something to start the fire with. You have the foil in there, so you can either use that to, I don't know, if you catch a fish, you can wrap the fish in it so you can just throw it on your coals, or you can use it as a signaling device. If the ground's wet, you can lay the foil down and you can actually use it to start the fire. There's a lot of uses for that foil. Alright, and then there's also 2 things of aqua tabs in there, so that if you don't have a fire, and of course you will need a container, but you can purify some water. Alright, just got to keep it going here. Looks like someone's about ready to walk in. It's probably going to be loud here in about 5 minutes. We're going to keep it going. As you can see, it's wrapping up nice and tight. Now the end is going to be it's going to stick out a little bit on the end, but that's okay, because it's going to tighten down nice. Hopefully we don't have this too tight. Alright, and we're going to stop as soon as we cover up all of the plastic here. Alright, so as you can see, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this end, we're going to send it through this loop here. Alright, now ideally we take this other end here, and as you can see, it's going to pull it down nice and tight inside there. So now if we did this right, it's nice and tight, just like so. Now as you can see, you can't see where the survival kit is, but once we get this all nice and done up, it shouldn't be too bad. Alright, so the last 2 things we have to do is we're going to cut the paracord off there, and then we're going to carefully just cook the end off. That way it doesn't, still a little bit hot, that way it doesn't fray. Then we're going to do the same thing down here. Simply going to cut that and just apply a quick little flame there. Just going to melt the ends. Alright, so there you have it. It doesn't look too horrible. Yeah, these ends here are a little bit tight, but a little bit rough, but there you have it. Now we have it nicely wrapped, and it's tight. It's not slipping anywhere until you want it to. So looks like we have probably just a few feet left here. So you probably got about 8 feet of paracord on there, hopefully. But you do have enough that if you do need to have some of that extra cordage around with you, and if you look from the front, you can't, it just looks like it's nicely wrapped. And you've got this. Now, yeah, we may want to do something with this, but I think that it's about as good as it's going to get. But there you have it. Here's a Mora with a built-in survival kit. And again, with this, it is waterproof because it is wrapped in plastic as well. Now, the thing is here, tomorrow we're actually going to be putting the Mora through a couple little tests to see what it does. But as you can see here, this still has the rubber band on it. The reason I kept the rubber band on it is because this one here, this is a brand new Mora. This has never been used. We have the kit here on it. And this, when I do pass my 250 subscribers, this along with that ferro rod that I built last year is going to be part of the giveaway. So again, after I hit 250, we're currently at 205. So another 45 people subscribe, and then we're going to be doing this giveaway. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell notification because once I put that one, I'll put the video up. We're going to announce when I cross 250, we're going to announce the giveaway, and I'll have the how to apply for the giveaway, as well as all the final details for it in that video. So there you go. Hopefully you like this. This is just a little idea that I've been watching other videos, and a little idea I came up with, and something I've been wanting to do. So there you have it. Mora survival knife.